It's the Dad the Rock After Show. Now, here's Chris and Sean.
Hello. Oh, Chris. There we go. This is the Dad and Rock After Show. This is Sean.
And this is Chris.
And we are here to talk about the premiere of Season 2 of Halo. Season 2. Allow myself to introduce myself.
Apparently, Master Chief likes ice cream. That's what we found out, this season.
Yeah, he does. That was a little fanfic of mine. I just wanted to see it.
There we go. Well, I mean, if you guys are new to us, we've been off for a little while. We're getting back in the swing of things. We did Season 1. We figured we got to jump right into Season 2. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe button. Join us along this way. I mean, we're going to let you know how it is, if we like it, if we don't like it, but we're going to try to stay as positive as possible. And I think these 2 episodes, for the most part, it's going to be pretty posive. So let us know what you think.
Oh, you think?
I think. You? And we're live. Yep. So if you're watching live, interact with us. Let us know you're here. Drop a comment on what you think we're talking about, and we'll go from there.
Hey, look, there's a total of 2 people watching right now. I want both of you people out there to comment. Ask us a question. Doesn't even have to be Halo related. Ask Chris about his beard. Ask me about my receding hairline. Whatever you want to ask about. But preferably Halo, because that's what we're here for. Okay, so should we give overall thoughts?
Okay, yeah. What were your overall thoughts of the first 2 episodes?
I really enjoyed it. I'm glad, because we texted just a little bit afterwards, and you said you were glad that they released 2.
Yes.
And I felt that too, because I feel like it was a proper reintroduction to everything. Like, by the time I hit the end of episode 2, I felt really like back into the world. It's like, okay, I know these characters again. I know the plot, the setting, and I'm ready to roll for the rest of the season. And I don't know, the writing felt a bit better. I remember feeling it feeling like more scattered last season, where it's just kind of here and there, and they would go to different planets, and the pacing seemed weird, but I really liked every scene felt important in these 2 episodes. Like, it didn't seem like there was a ton of fluff.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, no, for the most part, I enjoyed these. I will say I do judge them on, do I get distracted when I pick up my phone? And I did pick up my phone during these episodes.
I failed the test.
Now, like I said, like back and forth, give you guys some insight. I said when they do something well, it goes really well. Like the fighting scenes, the action scenes, I thought all of them were great. But I did feel like some of the story was just kind of like, it was better than last season. Like, I was engaged in it. Like you said, it felt like there was a purpose behind everything.
Yep.
It just, at times, I felt like it maybe drug a little bit. And I do appreciate 45, 55-minute episodes, which were both these were in that high 40s, low 50s for the runtime. So it gave us a lot of content. And it's very clear on where they're going this season. With the reveal at the end of the second episode, which was cool to see because we thought that character didn't make it through last season.
Yeah.
But also the piece of, the artifact. Also.
Right.
So yeah, it felt, I liked it. I was happy that it hit the way it hit. Now I'm looking forward to next week.
So when the first episode opens up, like, that's important because it's got to grab you from the get-go. And I felt like it did a pretty good job doing that. At first I was a little confused because my memory was a little hazy on how exactly the last season ended. And if they would like pick up right where they left off, but they really didn't. There was like a 6-month transition between end of last season and beginning of this one.
And I like that too. I like there being a gap. You don't need to pick up at exactly where they left off. They can pick it up from another point because it gives them time to go ahead and start with, the storylines. So Halsey, for instance, she was going to a moon or something like that to continue her studies or her development of Cortana, essentially.
Yeah.
That wasn't legal within, reach and everything. They pushed her off.
Right.
That didn't go as planned. And we don't know exactly what happened. What happened, with Admiral,
what happened?
with Paragotsky. How did she get removed? When that happened?
Yeah,
What
that was a
happened?
surprise when she came up in the elevator there. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, her, I remember her."
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
realize she was even gone because she was a part of season 1,
Yeah.
and we knew she was a big player, but we didn't really know how much behind the scenes was actually happening with her.
I do like there are some characters, introduced in this one. I feel like, it kinda plays with the expectations because it's like, "Oh, you thought this character was from season 1 was kinda nefarious or just, like, dumb or a bad person or bad guy. Well, let me introduce this new character that's even more nefarious to make the old character feel like a, warm hug, like a teddy bear." Like, but specifically, I guess mainly I'm talking about Halsey and, the,
Ackerson?
Ackerson, yeah, the guy who's now in charge of the Spartan program, who essentially, I guess, that whole division is almost in charge of the whole war effort now, I guess.
I feel that way, but this is my biggest problem with that character.
What's that?
He's not necessary. The
Mm,
protagonist or antagonist, I get it backwards, is basically the Covenant. We don't
mhm.
need fighting within. We know the fighting is coming from the outside. So I don't feel that part of this show is needed. And I think that was my biggest gripe between these first 2 episodes. And I think it's very, very short-lived. I think that his character has maybe one more episode left in him
Yeah,
because of the Covenant already being on Reach.
yeah. I feel that. Yeah, a lot of times it is just a way to drag out plot lines if you have one hurdle to jump and then get to the bigger hurdle later, like, yeah, I get that too. It seems a little unnecessary to have that kind of thing. But we'll see where it goes. Maybe that, character I do like the introduction though. As far as his character and his role may not be, essential, but, like, I do like the idea of Master Chief kind of bumping his head internally while he also has, a threat on the outside too. Uh, One thing I didn't like was just everything just I guess the tone. I don't know if a single character ever cracked a single smile in this entire, almost 2 hours of I mean, it is a very serious show. It takes itself so seriously. Like, everything is just so dour and, everybody's either afraid or kind of angry or kind of sad or kind of confused, but, like, nobody's cracking any jokes. Nobody's, like, smiling. There's no character that even fulfills that role.
There
It's
was a
kind of a
little bit of back and forth between Cobalt and Silver Team. When they
Yeah,
were in the locker room, there was a little bit of back and forth, but to your what you're saying, that it was serious too. But
right.
they were giving each other, as much crap as, 2 teams on the same team could give each
Yeah.
other.
And I don't need it to be like a Marvel show. I don't need them to be like wisecracking for a half hour or whatever. Like, that's not what I need at all. But it's
Uh,
just, it's hard for me to relate to characters and a world if literally everybody on screen is taking everything so damn seriously.
yeah. Well, there's that fine line of being able to add a little bit of levity into a very serious moment. Early Marvel was great at that.
Well, that's
They
human.
Yeah.
I mean, human beings react to things differently. You know what I mean? Some people they react to tragedy by laughing. Some people cry, some people laugh, some people that's how like they get through trauma. You know what I mean?
I just thought of
So,
Armageddon with I can't the guy I can't think of his name. The crazy guy was on the rock on the top of the machine gun
oh
shooting, just
yeah.
kind of laughing because I mean
Yeah.
he's going
Yeah.
nuts. I mean that's a similar situation, but not
And,
exactly.
and
But
speaking of which, I kind of want to like as far as human emotion, now that the Spartans silver team has their little pellets out or whatever, I'm kinda interested in seeing more of that, like, it's almost like a drop plot line, like, they mentioned it as far as the Cobalt team, like, kinda making fun of them,
yeah,
but
well
it doesn't seem to be a big
they
deal.
brushed off Vanek. Vanek was
Yeah,
strictly or hard against it in season
right.
1, and now the
Yeah,
fact that we find out that he did remove his. And that conversation that they're having in episode 1 when they're kind of, keeping an eye on things,
yeah,
it was something there.
yeah, it is something. It was, I guess it was through that 6 months that we missed, it really they wore him down. They were like, "Hey, man, you gotta take that pellet out. Watch some animal videos." The basement surge. Hey. What's up to you guys? Welcome to the Dad and Rock Halo After Show. We're so glad you could join us. Catch the basement surge in Brooklyn. I don't know what John's doing these days, but I know they're still broadcasting out of Brooklyn. Check them out.
There we go. I don't know. It's just, what did you think about the whole like Master Chief? I like how Master Chief is, and I like how like when he gave his actual like report to Ackerson,
Yeah.
but Ackerson didn't buy it. What would his motivations be to not believe what Master Chief said? Like what?
Yeah, that felt a little weird too. Just like let me straight up ignore. Well, that's the thing. Does Ackerman knows like okay. Yeah.
Well, we
So like
find out later that he knows the Covenant is on Reach because he
right.
has Cortana running simulations. She's
Yeah.
90%, 97% sure what the outcome is going to be with the data that he has provided because he won't give her actually any outside data. Like she can't dive into anything besides what he is giving her, which is actually skewing the results of what her actual calculations are going to be.
Yes.
So
It's kind of a weird thing because it's like he's keeping that secret. Why exactly? Like, is it that he doesn't want to cause a panic? Is it like, any politician that, that
yeah,
we don't want the general public to know because A, B, and C, right? But it's like he does have maybe he's actually legitimately worried about the state of Master Chief slash John's mental capabilities
I
right
don't buy
now.
it for a second.
You don't think he's actually concerned about that?
No, power grab. That's why he has Hulk
Yeah.
locked up in that like a hologramic uh type of cell when he has that girl coming in to go ahead and she just comes in the clone and starts pressing her and she dies like every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that weird. There's the tree with Halsey that only Cortana knew. Why would he put that in there just to watch
Yeah.
it burn later? Uh, there's a bunch of different things, and just the fact that he sends Cobalt team out to do something and basically isn't telling anybody really what the deal is. And Master Chief knows something's up
Yeah.
because he tells them treat it like it's real because he knows something's going on. They're going into a hornet's nest. And we see that at the end of episode 2 because we find out that Makey that we thought was dead because
Yeah.
was it Riz that shot? No, it wasn't Riz. It was Kai. Kai
Yeah.
shot her at the end of season 1. So
Mhm.
so hear this out. Are there many versions of Making? Are there clones of her? Like, did she actually die when we seen her die? And is this a clone of that character? Because we've already seen them use the clones already with that one girl that's coming in to take care of Halsey.
Oh, right. Right, 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 right.
So they've already introduced that into this world. Is it a reach
Yeah.
to think that she would be one because she is an asset to the Covenant?
I don't think it's a reach. No, it's possible. Yeah, they did introduce the whole technology of clones with that little girl. They seem to I couldn't tell if she was dying because they haven't perfected the cloning technology or if she was dying because literally, the guy was, like, pushing a button so she wouldn't talk too
That
much.
was the that was the impression I got. Like he would
Yeah.
let Halsey ask certain many amount of questions,
Yeah.
and like she would know she can't answer them, and then he would like I don't know throw a switch, and then boom.
I'm not totally out on this guy yet. I think on the surface, he does look, like, very untrustworthy. Like, he's got only his own intentions in mind, right?
Yeah,
What's the guy's name? Ackerson. Um, I don't know, but I think there's still room there to maybe there's gonna be a babyface turn at some point. I'm not sure.
but see, Keys doesn't even believe in him. Captain Keys is like he's just the boss now, and he storms
Yeah,
off because he doesn't
yeah,
like the guy. He doesn't like being questioned
yeah,
by Silver Team, and I think he's in a position now where he's being questioned and talked to with new vigor because they don't have
yeah,
their pellets in anymore. So they're not just yes sir, no sir, just by the book, by the orders now. Now they
yeah,
have human emotions that they're dealing with. And we see that with Riz and her injury
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that she's dealing with that she never completely healed from the
Right.
last time we've seen her in season 1.
I liked that. I liked her whole subplot. I liked the dude she was hanging out with in the gym who took her to that, doctor guy who I guess, like, had some, technique or ability to, like, take her pain away or something. There was
Yeah.
something, kinda
They really
mysterious
didn't
about that whole
say
thing.
so much, but yeah.
No, but you could see, like, relief wash over her. It was, um, I don't know, it was just something different, and I don't know if there's a possibility that it's, like, he's doing something nefarious and maybe just using these people, or it's, like, legit and it's just
Yeah.
something that the Spartans need to, like, broaden their horizons because all they know is military, 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 and
Well,
I
yeah,
think maybe that might be the point of it, like, they're learning more about the world around them and the people, society in general, as opposed to just constantly being soldiers, soldiers, so,
yeah. I am actually really excited to see how the season goes based
yeah.
on knowing because like for instance, like Master Chief was like, okay, why would they go after this relay and then glass the planet? So he's
Mhm.
like, they're training for something. They're
Yeah,
doing this, they're training, they're gearing up. And you've seen that one scene at the was the end of episode 2, I think it may have been, where all
yeah.
those ships came out of the clouds
Yes,
and
yeah.
they're getting ready for a bat. Like I think last season, my bet with Christopher may have been with either finding out what the halo was. I don't remember exactly, and I was wrong by whatever it was, or if it
Mhm.
was glassing reach.
Mm.
I was wrong on both accounts, if it was either of them, and I took a pie for it. If you guys haven't seen it,
We may be getting that soon, though.
I think this episode we're gonna not this episode, this season we're gonna see the glassing of reach. I think
Yeah,
there's
and for them to introduce the threat of them already being on Reach so in episode 2, I mean, so soon, I don't know how do we have an episode count for season 2 yet?
I think it's oh no, I'm not sure actually.
But, like, for them to introduce it so early, that's promising because that means we're jumping off with a big event, and we only have, room to go from here in the
Well,
next
we
episodes.
knew they couldn't actually do it until they recovered the artifact that was stolen from him when Master Chief did at the end of season 1.
Yeah,
So that was the artifact that Makey was recovering. Now you have the other artifact that we have within the city, city walls basically of Reach.
yeah,
So they have to basically get both of them. So we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see a full-fledged siege of Reach. And if they give us, 6 episodes of full-fledged battle warfare, strategic,
yeah.
the city buckling down, the politics happening behind the walls, the soldiers, in front of the wall, I think that would bring every hardcore fan back into this world.
That could be cool. I actually would prefer that as opposed to them just, glassing Reach in episode 3, and then the rest of the season is, like, hopping from planet to planet or the continuing battle and the rest in space. I would love yeah, I think I would like that, almost like an arc that's just mainly on Reach because 'cause we've already explored outside of Reach and stuff with
Yeah.
what's going on with Soren and stuff, but if I would like that quite a bit because you could really get down to the nitty-gritty as far as just, like and if you spend some time here and you're rooting for them to stop the glassing of Reach and then it finally happens, then it's all the more devastating because 'cause you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, crap."
You think that the good guys are gonna win,
Yeah,
and I mean, we know that the glassing of Reach happens.
yeah.
How they're gonna play this out and when they're gonna play this out within the show, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I would love it to be some type of almost like a World War II type of epic of,
Mhm.
Covenant landing. You see their ships coming down, they take, hold of one spot and they're going towards Reach, trying to go ahead and get that actual artifact that they need to complete, I guess, the set.
Yeah. The little
That
puzzle
would that
piece in the
that
middle,
would be a
yeah.
lot of fun, and then we actually have Soren. So Soren was double crossed because he has this, like, ambition of catching Halsey. He gets to repay her for what she did to
So
him.
that was definitely his crew abandoning him or helping with the setup, right? They weren't
Y
just, like, spooked and left.
No, they were because they
They
even
were in on
they
that.
set it up. I think Liara, his wife, was like, "We're losing grip. We're
Yeah, yeah,
losing hold of no one fears you anymore."
right.
So when that guy came in, they knew I think at that time they didn't know, but that he knew how to get to Soren. Like, he knew his weak spot. And then he got to
Yeah.
the crew, and the crew was okay, they sold him out.
Frankly, by that point in the episode, I was like, "Good, I mean, F Soren. He doesn't wanna take care of his own crew? F him."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was such kind of a bastard. It's just like,
Well,
all
he was
right
an
then.
ass to his kid too about being scared of
Yeah.
monsters and things. I was like, you know what? That's and you've
Listen,
seen
kid,
something
monsters are
coming.
very real. Well, yeah. Like, tell the kid the truth, but, like, reassure him that
He will be
you're
there
gonna
to
do
help.
everything
Yeah, he'll keep him
right. Yeah.
safe.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just by the time Soren had a bad episode because I kinda liked the character,
Hmm.
in first season, he had in his arc and stuff and his plot. But yeah, they did a lot in this first episode and a half to be like, "Oh, Soren's kind of a dick."
Will they do a redemption arc with him rejoining Silver Team? None of them have
Oh,
their pellet in. They're bringing them back. They're under arrest, bringing them back to Reach. If Reach all of a sudden's under siege, he could escape from whatever cell or whatever punishment he's in, and John or Kai or Vanek or one of them actually find him and actually say, you know what, they fight side by side to get off.
maybe. Yeah, maybe I can see that happening. Yeah,
Because and at the end of it, they were all and are all Spartans. Even if he's not currently, he was. So he's kind of a part of that fraternity, if he
right.
likes it or not in reality.
Yeah, that's true. How do you like, John 117 as, our main character
I buy
going
it.
forth these
I
first
like it.
couple episodes? Yeah.
I like him with the helmet on. I so the training when they're training with who was I'm blanking. Riz.
Yeah.
When she was injured. Playing
Yeah.
that like game of like almost like high intensity laser tag when
Yeah.
they're running through the countryside, she's climbing up waterfalls,
You're
and he
right.
just basically snipers her off the cliff and she falls. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, that's pretty badass. That was a cool scene. And it also highlighted her injury, but then it also highlighted the I'm a soldier.
H
I'm
that
not gonna stop.
that and John's current desperation
Yes.
too. Like, his level of intensity is raised because he is just so anxious about what's about he feels something's gonna happen, he's not quite sure,
Yep.
but he's just like, "My me and my team have to be absolutely prepared for anything."
Yeah.
And, you can tell they're probably, usually like that in the training they've had to endure since they were kids, but you could tell in that episode that he was
Well,
taking
Kai
it against
was
the
even
grain.
like, we need to relax it down a little bit. This is too much on her.
Yeah, Kai and Vanek were kinda giving him side eye a little bit, like,
Yeah.
"Huh, that's a little
But
intense."
Riz was like, go again. And she starts going and she gets to the top of the cliff and starts firing down and she
'Cause
takes
at
off
the same
again.
time, she's trying to push herself and be in
Yeah.
denial of her being an injured to begin with.
Yeah. So what I
So,
mean,
yeah, there's a lot of character dynamics in play with that whole thing, I really liked it.
when they grew up with like, we can't show weakness. There is no
Yeah,
weakness. And I guess
right.
with the pellet, it actually accelerated healing time.
Yeah,
So they're not used to none of them are used to actually being beat up or hurt in any manner. So the
right.
fact that she has this injury that she can't overcome, it's completely new to her. And she's got to be, I mean, they've got to be what, mid 30, like not 30 range, it looks like age wise. They don't really tell
Yeah,
us.
they don't look like spring chickens, they look like
No.
they've been through the shit a little bit, yeah.
So, I mean,
Um,
their whole life she's been invincible. And now within
yeah,
the last 6 months,
right,
mortality is setting in.
yeah. I like that quite a bit, and I like, if they're giving her this arc, it's almost like the typical, athletic movie, like whether it be a boxer or you're playing football, it's like you get an injury or something that sets you down, like a Rocky movie or
Yeah.
something, where you're like beaten down to your
Well, she
lowest, and
cut,
then you have
yeah.
to build yourself back up again. She needs a
She's gonna become the
montage.
one, and she's gonna be the one that saves Master Chief in the end.
That's right. Yeah, she's gonna need a montage.
Oh, there's always have a good montage.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. If they don't do it, I'll be sorely disappointed, and you know what? They probably won't do it because this is Halo.
Yeah, right.
Everything's so serious.
Why do we need a montage? Come on, guys. No,
Yeah.
we always have a reason for a montage.
Dr. Halsey, what are your current feelings of her currently? What do you think about her?
I have no feelings, and
Really?
and honestly, that's probably the worst thing you can say about a character in a
Yeah.
show. I am completely just don't care. There's nothing that they gave me in these first 2 episodes that made me care about her character anymore.
Okay.
I was like, okay, yeah, she kept an eye on the Spartans, the silver team. She ran the program. She got booted for doing things illegally. And then now she's locked up. I mean, I even that she got locked up in a way that wasn't supposed to happen, still
Mhm.
kind of, I don't know. I don't care.
A couple things I did like was the reveal that she was actually on Reach. Like, in my head, I thought she was, like, banished to some distant moon or
Hmm.
something, like, she was,
That's
like,
what we were
totally
told.
gone. Yeah, but, like, no, she's right here, and the new guy that took her job is, like, pretty much, psychologically torturing her every day. Like, it was a good reveal, and I do like that the first season built her up to be such a genius and kinda like, 3 steps ahead of everybody,
Yeah.
but now that she's definitely not, like, she's the one that's kinda fighting for her life right now, fighting for her freedom, and she is being pinned down by somebody. So I do like the change in the dynamic, and you're right, as far as her intentions were never really clear, and they're still not. Like, if they showed me in the first season that, like, yeah, she was nefarious, she had all these plans because she's kinda too big for her britches, and she's, like, has all these grand ideas and is kind of like, a bit of a psychopath and a narcissist, but she actually loved those kids for you know what I mean? Like, she actually did care about the
Yeah.
kids, and they were sh wasn't just using them for the program, but they never dove too far into that. Like, they didn't give her a lot of redeeming qualities in that first season.
They really didn't know. It was
They
all about
shied away
her.
from that.
She didn't care about her husband. She didn't care about her daughter. It
Yeah.
was all like
It was all
me
about
in
her.
this
All about
program.
her.
That's
Yeah.
all her and Cortana essentially. That was
Right.
that was her. So now that she's in this position, it doesn't I don't care. I mean, I think there's going to be a spot where absolutely Reach is going to be attacked. She is
Yeah.
absolutely going to escape and she's going to get a hold of Cortana again. There's no
Yeah.
doubt in my mind her and Cortana are going to have be reunited in this season. I mean, probably within the next couple episodes.
Um, so one thing I wanted to bring up too with, John 117, I do like him playing a little bit of detective work and kinda it's so funny him, like, wearing a hoodie and, like, walking through the streets, but meanwhile, like, he's, like, 7 feet tall and his shoulders are out to here,
Yeah.
like, he's so inconspicuous. It's like friggin' Batman walking
Well,
around
it's
or
like he
something,
went and
but
visited what was that Perez's Sergeant Perez, her
yes.
house because he wanted to know why she didn't tell the truth about
Right.
what actually happened on
Sanctuary?
Sanctuary. Thank you.
Yes.
So when he walks up and all of a sudden, her brother sees, she brought a guy home and not only a guy, but Jesus.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing was fun too. I like it, and I hope they do more of it where John has to interact with just normal everyday people. Because it's another thing where it's like these Spartans are so used to this path that they've been on this whole
Yeah,
time that it's like you have to be if they're not gonna be, basically running like robots because of this implanted chip or pellet inside of them, then they're gonna wanna fight because they wanna save people. You know what I
yeah,
mean? There it whatever is gonna give them the extra oomph to get through this challenge ahead of them, it's gonna be because they genuinely love the world around them and wanna save it. And like that you need more instances of them interacting with people and hating people, loving people, like,
yes.
that kinda thing, which I hope they do more with because I really enjoy that aspect of the Halo story.
Well, you see Master Chief go ahead and carry Perez out off the battlefield because
Yeah.
she had that like survivor's regret immediately. Her whole
Yep.
crew died.
Yep.
And she could have and should have died, she thinks. I mean, she was
Right.
attacked. And then all of a sudden you see Makey show up, which they weren't clear about it then. I
No.
wasn't sure who that clearly was at that point.
But it
But
definitely
also,
was her.
yeah, and looking back at it, it absolutely was her. And then they all vanish. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden the glassing starts and they're running to the ship to get out of there. So I liked the back and forth. I liked how she was like, when she was explaining to John why she didn't, she was scared,
Yeah.
which is a very realistic emotion on why you wouldn't tell somebody something because
Right.
that person wants another account of what happened. And if
Mhm.
they're a political person in power, you're going to tell them or your commanding officer what they want to hear.
Right.
And then they're going to parade you around like you're the hero, even though
Yeah.
you know the real truth of what happened.
Yeah, all that stuff was good with Perez. I like her character introduction. I hope she sticks around for more of the season. I like her dynamic with John too. And I liked, yeah, him coming home for dinner over her place too. Trying to think of this. Oh, another thing I liked is we as an audience are a little weary about John's experience too. Because me personally, the way they edit that fight, I'm actually not entirely sure if John. I think John thinks that he saw that, but are we just seeing what John sees or what's in his head? You know what I mean? Like the whole
Yeah,
Mackie thing, like her standing there. Was she really there? Because we as an audience are pretty sure she died or whatever. Or is she, because something is clearly going on because he's having these like instances where he kind of like has the 1,000-yard stairs, and all of a sudden he's in another room, and like, the editing transitions him.
yeah,
Like, he gets so lost in thought that all of a sudden he's, like, waking up, and he's, like, somewhere totally different. So, like, I think as an audience, we're meant to believe that there is something going on internally with him that's not quite right, and even though we don't like Ackerman, it seems to be he's onto something as far as John not being totally battle ready. There's something internally in his
something.
head that's going on.
Well, I mean, Cortana even said in season 1, if you go ahead and upload me, we may not be able to undo this.
Yeah.
So them undoing it may have caused some type of unknown issue,
Right.
which it could lead into exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, we also see John go to this like a hologram room, which I mean, I guess is kind of a skeezy type area.
Or that's at least what it's made for anyway, yeah.
And he scans his card, and all of a sudden he has a picture of Cortana come up.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, who is she supposed to look like? Is it supposed to be Cortana? Is it supposed to be a mix between Cortana and Makey? You know what I mean? I
Mm.
was kind of getting that because there was that connection between Makey and John, but then there was that physical connection that just through his brain with Cortana. So who
I
is
took
he
that
actually missing?
I took that as he's literally got Cortana on the mind because I just took that as, like, he tried his best to make it look like Cortana, but just the programming wasn't quite there to make it like when you're doing the, character creation in the beginning of a video game,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, it's like, "It kinda looks like me, I guess,"
It's
almost,
close
not
enough. We'll
really.
move on.
The
I
nose is
get
a
the
little too
gist.
big, yeah. But that's what I got, but it is interesting because it's like, you know, last season, he kind of like, uh, he wasn't a huge fan of Cortana. Like, he kinda, like, brushed her off as, like, something that
Yeah,
was being forced upon him, and he wanted to do it himself, and Cortana kept kinda trying to interject and be like, "Well, I can help, but you're not letting me."
yeah.
And, it's interesting if that's completely done a 180 now where he's like, he actually misses her, and I don't know if that's because once you have a neural link that's somebody inside your head and it's gone, you would just naturally miss them, or like he actually feels like he needs that going forward, like he needs that asset, that benefit to help him fight, the Covenant. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
And it could be just, a mental thing. Once
Yeah.
someone's a part of you and then they're gone, you're missing
Right.
that piece that is gone.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. I absolutely think there's gonna be a re-upload of Cortana. Cortana and John
Oh yeah.
will become one again this season. And I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be a vital part of how this season goes when it comes to the battle. And
Right.
it's gonna be Halsey who actually plays a part in that. So we gotta get that moving forward. I think we got all, like you said, all the introductions ready, all the okay, this is where we are. We weren't away from this world for very long. It didn't take them long to get us season two, unlike
Yeah.
other streaming services giving us season twos like 2-3 years later.
Yeah, it's
We
true.
won't name any of you, Disney's HBO Maxes, but I like how they got us back in the world.
Yeah.
We know what the stakes are now because they gave us the stakes in the very beginning of episode 1 and then the very end of episode 2. So they
Yeah.
bookmarked it perfectly with the battle sanctuary and oh no, they're on reach. And
Yeah.
on top of that, they have the artifact back.
Yeah.
So those pieces I felt they did very well.
I think, they need to keep up this pace. I feel like I enjoy it because it's, here's what I don't want. I don't want the thrust of the next few episodes to be like, okay, the Covenant's here, but they're hidden. They're in the shadows and they're doing something. Like,
I don't
I
think
wanna
I
let's
think
really ramp it up, maybe.
we're jumping right into it, episode 3. And the
I
reason
hope
I
so.
say that because when John took the crew, said they were battle ready when they weren't cleared for battle, they were going for training, and he
Yeah.
knew where Cobalt went. So
Yeah.
he's actually deviating from their plan, their flight plan, going to Cobalt. So when they get there, The Covenant's there. There's going to be some type of conflict there because it's all happening, in real time.
There does seem to be a pretty they seem to be maybe 5 minutes to midnight too. There is a ticking clock because that scene with Ackerman and Cortana in that private room where she wasn't connected to anything, but he was having her run these scenarios over and over again.
Mhm.
He was like, well, when he left the room, he was like, "All right, I'll see you later," or whatever. And Cortana was confused, like, "No, you won't."
Yeah,
Like, we've already gone through this. Like, you're not coming back here. You don't have time. Like, that's how I took it. Like, oh shit, like shit's about to go down. Like now.
yeah. I think we're almost. I would almost really like it to be. What if they gave us a 24-hour thing, like the show 24? What if it went
Yeah,
from like
classic.
midnight to midnight? Like all of a
Mhm.
sudden, John and Silver Team show up.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, okay, now Mackie and the Covenant know John knows. And he's
yeah,
the last one they want to know because he's the one that's invaded their space and took
right.
their actual artifact from them. So
Yeah,
even if he is slightly uh, not himself, he is still the better soldier of all of them. And it's going to take 20, 30 of them to take him down by themselves. So I think we're going to
yeah.
get that fat. We're going to jump right into the meat of this. And I really can't wait.
Yeah, I'm happy with where we are after 2 episodes because I feel like this point last season, we was still kind of finding our footing. I feel like we as an audience were finding our footing. The show itself was trying to find its footing. It had the big reveal of him taking his helmet off. Like, it was just a bunch of distraction, you know what I mean? There was
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff outside of just the story and the characters and the actors and the direction and the cinematography, like, there's all this other stuff. But
Yeah.
here, these first 2 episodes I've really enjoyed the plot, the pacing, the actors. I think the guy who plays, Pablo Schreiber, who's playing John,
Yeah.
he had some real moments where I could see him acting through his eyes, where I could hear his internal dialogue, him thinking with just the looks he was given, like the Cobalt team and like
Oh yeah, dude. One of my favorite scenes of the episode is when he basically calls out to the leader of Cobalt.
yeah,
And I've already mentioned it. He's like, treat it like it's real
right,
because he feels something's up. And I think
yeah.
him just saying that to him, I think put the Cobalt leader on high alert
Yeah,
because
so
I think there's a
even the acting is, like, impressing me so far.
yeah, because the respect, because he even said Master Chief. He even gave
Yeah,
him that like always Master Chief. I think it's what the word how you put it. So
right.
I want to see how that goes. I don't want to see Cobalt be killed off.
I know, I think maybe that's what we're heading towards.
I think we're I think we're gonna lose a member or two of Silver.
We may.
I
Yeah.
think we're seriously gonna lose a member or two of Silver. I'm not sure who or when or
I think
how.
Vanek is probably the most vulnerable right now because I feel like they're giving Kaya things to do with the temptation that Ackerman's given, right? And they also are giving the, raise up from your injury storyline,
Yeah,
to Riz. But Vanek is just kind of around. So, I don't know. I would like to see them stay intact, but at the same time, like, it gives them real stakes, you know?
I
Like
like Vanek, man. I'm gonna wear you like a sock.
yeah.
Oh
Um,
man, so it sounds like we enjoyed this. I think we both
we did. Yeah.
really enjoyed this. I mean, like I said, I love what we do here because I think with us talking it through a little bit more, looking back on, I think I may enjoy it more if I watched it a second time through. But it was I had my attention enough. Like I said, I did pick up my phone. That's
Right.
neither here nor there. But for a almost an hour, 2 hours worth of episodes, I watched them straight through. It's kind of hard not to lose a
Yeah.
little bit of attention. But I'm looking forward to season two, episode 3,
Yeah.
and I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next episode, and that's the mark of the show's doing its job. So we'll be here. We'll be here every Friday to talk about Halo season 2. New episodes premiere on Paramount Plus every Thursday, and we'll be here the day after to talk about it. Of course, like other shows, Chris and I are also dads and husbands. We have lives going on, so every now and then we're just not
Be,
going to be able to go live
yeah,
on YouTube on a Friday night.
yeah, be flexible
Um,
with us, guys. We'd appreciate that.
yeah.
But we have a goal of 500 subscribers.
Yes.
We are 21 away. If you guys can push us towards it, hell,
Yeah.
if we get to 500 subscribers at the end of this show, I'll take another pie. I'll take a pie at 500 again. I'll make it a
I think it
Halo
should be a
tradition.
double pie. We'll have to find a way to so we both get hit with pies.
There
I
we
haven't
go. If
taken a
we
pie
hit
yet, so
500, we'll go ahead and do another live show with where the kids and the wives hitting us with pies. I think they'll enjoy that.
yes, please get us there.
Okay, so I guess until we see you next time, you know what? I'm not even sure how to end
I
the
don't know.
Halo.
We're signing off.
There we
What trying to
go.
say? Who the hell knows? I don't know. We'll
Catch
see
you
you next
guys
week.
next week.